can't remember what
Is it
uh
like Red Dawn a little bit?
as well, that's the next movie I watched. So
Oh, I didn't even see.
yeah,
I try not to
it's not
read your list ahead, so I'm surprised.
yeah, it is not. Yeah, Red Dawn actually came out before America.
Yeah,
But yeah, so
84.
this is not one of those but it is people kind of rising up. It almost felt like more like V, the miniseries, that type of thing,
Got it. Seen V.
instead. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, so I kind of went down the, I guess, a red route and watched Red Dawn, the
Yes.
1984.
That's the name of
I
tonight's
know, I
episode,
know,
too. Red
because you
Route.
love that, and
I
I have
do.
not watched it in a long time. So a lot of it, I was like, oh, I can't quite remember everything happened. And now you
Yeah.
watch it, it's like it's fine, like
Yeah, it's fine. The
it's fine.
Wolverines.
Yeah. And it probably it's probably even more notorious because it was the first PG-13 movie. Um,
Red Dawn was?
yeah, Red
Oh,
Dawn was, yeah.
interesting.
So that's why it was kind of, and people remember it, and it has some nice kind of visuals and so forth. So I
Powerful
thought,
opening too. And
yeah,
I always
yeah,
remember the cover art of, we've never had a invading army in our time in American soil, and then the parachutes. Yeah, it is jarring.
come down
It
in
is
the
a
middle of it. Yeah. And every once in a while, it's like, wait a sec, they're in the middle of where, and how does, what else is happening elsewhere? Like,
right.
but, and it's
Yeah,
funny
they're in
because look at these,
Colorado, and you're like, why is Cuba
yeah.
there?
And some of the actors, I was like, how many times did they work together in a span of 5 years? Like C.
Yeah.
Thomas Howell and between Patrick Swayze and everyone was like, and Charlie Sheen, it was like,
Oh
were
yeah.
they just always together? This was our go-to crowd. But
Yeah, we're just
so
going from set to
yeah.
set in like 80s jackets
Yeah.
and
Well, Patrick Swayze and
movies.
Jennifer Grey together, and then they were together again in
Yeah.
Dirty Dancing. And so yeah.
Oh yeah.
Even though they seem to not get along. But
Is
so
Red Dawn a Brat Pack movie?
it was kind of right before the Brat Pack kind of became a thing. But yeah, it has the Brat Packers in there because it has Charlie Sheen, and I mean it has all the kind of usual suspects. But
Okay. Yeah, because it does feel like, it
yeah,
doesn't feel like a Brat Pack lighthearted comedy, but it does have, yeah, same
yeah,
same kind of
and it
cast.
wasn't necessarily promoted that way because they weren't all quite names yet. It was kind of the
Right.
next year and so forth. Everything kind of began to kind of synergize that way. But
Yeah.
and then I decided to watch, because I don't think I had ever watched it, Red Dawn 2012.
Oh, how did you think?
It was I probably was like when it wasn't working for me for a number of
No.
reasons. Yeah, like it's like I know they kind of switched it up. Um,
Well, it was
and
supposed to be China that invaded,
yeah,
which would make sense, but then because they didn't want to, they wanted to appease to the Chinese box office,
yeah,
they switched it at the last minute to North Korea, and you're like, no, they don't have
yeah,
the manpower to overtake the US without China.
yeah.
So it's yeah. I only saw it once, so I teeter on that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I teeter on that whether I want to watch it again. And I just remember really not liking it. Like I saw it when it came out, and I didn't like it at
Yeah.
all.
And 2012, I mean, 84 versus 2012, there's just different dynamics and technology, and there's just things that just don't, I guess, it would not happen. And they try to kind of follow the
Oh,
same beats. And I was like, well, wait a second. And because I just watched the original, I was like, is this the same character, And I was like, oh, it is supposed to, because I kind of recognize the names. And so like Chris Hemsworth is kind of the older brother. And then Josh Peck, I don't know if he's miscast or whatever. I just could not stand him. And I was just like, what are you whining about? Just get out of here. Yeah.
yeah, I
Um,
do remember that.
but yeah, but
Yes.
I watched it to the end, and I was like, all right,
Oh,
click as soon as like the credits are like click off,
you're a
done,
trooper for finishing it.
and to never watch it again.
Okay.
But yeah,
What were the did they explain why they invaded in that one? I don't
they
remember.
might have, but I really can't remember.
It's not worth
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it has a couple nice visuals at the beginning. I think that the that always kind of works. You're like, oh, yeah, any type of that initial invasion, but it never
Yeah.
quite gets better than that, So,
Right. Okay.
but
Maybe I'll watch the opening again.
yeah, and they're like, well, it gives you hope. It's like, yeah, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And then it starts to get into preposterous. Preposterous, is that a word? I can't quite
Yeah.
quickly. So, but
Pros-
first, whatever. I'll just say
It's
ridiculousness. So
preposterousness.
yes, it is.
Yes.